Hello and welcome to Fun Frolicking.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good day, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. Please do click like, share this out on your pages with your friends, and you can, in the comments, chime in on our conversation. Say hello. Let us know you're watching. What's up? What's alive for you? Today, we will be talking about um, the metaphysical or metaphorical ways we can explore death as ritual, as celebration, as grief, as loss, and some very personal things that have been going on for myself and Karezza, and how we have been exploring this on our own and on Clubhouse and in our social media. We share a lot of it with you on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, where else? Yeah, anyways, blah 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 blah. And so yeah, please do chime in, let us know what comes up for you. um Death, just the word, like, even when I say it, right, I could feel like this energy. It holds so much weight. Um, but we talked about fairy tales in one of the rooms, and a friend of mine, our Clubhouse, brought up one of the stories. Oh, I said, Godfather Death, from Brothers Grimm or something.
Yeah.
And basically, and talked about death. The whole moral of the story is death knows unconditional love. Death takes everyone, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Death is an inevitable part of life. And it's unfortunate that we don't have enough celebration and ritual for this part of life, both in reference to the shifting and the passing on of physical life, as well as, for me, what inspired this ritual, the loss of my vision, the death of my physical vision. And, the list could go on and on about the different losses, the different things we experience in life, or parts of us we feel we lost access to, parts of us that we know but feel dead inside. So that's some of the components of that. And we'll be, talking a little bit about the lunar eclipse. Generally, we like to weave in some astrology, but both Karezza and myself, we love it, but we're not super knowledgeable about it. So if you're watching and you are, tell us, what do we need to know about our current astrological times? Right now, everything just feels in alignment. There's this sense of flow. There's this sense of beingness versus doing. Like, we know we're in this space of ritual, of celebrating death. And we started it last weekend. And we know that this weekend we plan to kind of bury it, bring it to some sort of shifting, transmutation, closure, whatever you want to call it. But nothing is super scheduled. It's like the no plan. That's what we call it. We have a plan, but a part of the plan is no plan. And I feel like it's very in alignment with our current, just where we are. It feels good. So anyways, I've been yapping. Karezza, tell us, what's alive for you? What are we doing? What am I talking about? What are you doing?
It's okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Karezza from the Intimate Playground. And I'm really, really chuffed and happy to be exploring the celebration of death, because many people see death as one-dimensional, and it looks a certain way, and it's very morbid and very sad. When death can be the start of something new and bringing more life within you as well. So there is the physical death of the body, and many people go through it in many different ways. And as I believe Candace had actually sent out, had a link on her Facebook or Instagram, there were many multitudes of ways people around the world were showing and celebrating what death looked like to them. And one of the most exciting bits I saw was that they actually invited strippers to come and dance around the dead people. And actually, maybe to help the mourners as well, I'm guessing.
And clowns. And clowns.
Yay!
Clowns with flowers that when you get close to it, it squirts water out at you. At a funeral,
Yes.
guys. At a funeral.
Yes.
In Europe.
Yeah.
And the strippers were like an Asian thing.
Yeah.
Definitely check out that link. It inspired me in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so interesting. And then, you know, what to do with when parts of us die, for instance, you know, or when there's things within us that we no longer serves us, and we let that go. Certain fears, or for instance, needing to be right all the time, or not thinking you're good enough, or a lot of negative things. But we can actually celebrate that and you know, wish it farewell in a beautiful way. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It doesn't have to, you know, cause us harm, but that we can actually sit in it and allow to feel it, and then go through it and let it go as well. So I think,
you know,
yeah.
I was going to say that is one of the components of this lunar eclipse wherein I've heard is that maternal, strong holding. It's not trying to fix, trying to change. It's just like, here we are, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not easy being vulnerable, being in the feminine. It could be scary. Like my guts are kind of turning right now. So as we're talking, I moved it. My altar was behind me, but this is the main temple room where I see my clients, and it was getting a little morbid in here. I had to move it at least before I saw a client. I'm like, all right, we're gonna move my coffin altar out of the room, okay? Because it's just getting a little weird. Yeah. I'm glad I can laugh at it, you know?
Yes.
But at the same time, like, you know, I've been dropping into some intense stuff. Like, so for me, the loss of my physical vision, for me, so trigger warning. I'm just kind of like, big ass trigger warning throughout this whole show, guys, okay? And feel free to share anything. I did physically die 3 times that I'm aware of. I also had a baby that came through me and didn't make it. And I carried that baby and made for 3 months while alive. And then 3 months after it passed, it sat inside me. And there are other things around that experience are very challenging. And, you know, as those of you that do know me or don't know me, my life in my past pre-21, which is also when this pregnancy happened when I was 18, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol from 14 to 21. And then prior to that, that's what I grew up around. I remember when the first time I actually witnessed death, I must have been in 4th, 5th grade or something. I was hanging out with some friends of mine. We're outside, and I was the only child, and there were like 3 siblings. And all of a sudden, one of the siblings came running out of the house saying, "Mommy's dead." And we all went running in. And the dad was busy using in another room. And mom had overdosed and suffocated herself. And all of us saw this. Um, you know, so hence, allowing myself to drop into this space of death and feeling and allowing myself to grieve, because as a child, as somebody who was under the influence of drugs and alcohol, I was not. And I could go on and on. Those are just a couple experiences of how I have faced death. So in my sober adult conscious experience, it's very healthy and healing for me to create these rituals and experiences, while also being conscious when it's getting a little intense, and and I have to like ask for help in essence, yeah. Oof. And I've been very grateful, between yeah, so I think I love Clubhouse. I've developed a kind of a family there.
Yeah.
And it's like we know, and a lot of us hold space for this kind of stuff. And I feel like I've been going through this ritual with a group of people from all over the world that have been holding me since last weekend, knowing what I'm doing, and are checking in with me. And I'm getting messages every day. Happy death ritual. How's your death going? I got flowers, like I got a eulogy posted on my Facebook for my eyeballs. And so great. Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh, and do you want to share about your experience and our experience in our attempt to do some ritual on Clubhouse?
With when this past week, you mean? Yeah, while we were on Clubhouse earlier this week, we were talking about how we experienced what was it what you had I don't even remember what you had said.
We were going to drop into our death ritual, and you had just started sharing about your experience with your loss and the deaths that you were processing.
Yes.
And then we got shut out.
Yeah, and we got shut out. I thought maybe the disconnect is from me because I started the room, but we don't really know what happened, or someone hacked us and terminated the room. I don't know. But then we got invited, I forget her name, into the fairy tale. There was a room on the fairy tale. And Candace was very adamant about talking and sharing about death. And I don't remember her name.
Nicola
invited us in. Yeah.
Shared light communities on Clubhouse, guys. Yep.
And she invited us and invited death into her fairy tales. Yeah, and I think you were talking about Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, there's been a whole series of
many
events.
Yeah, about the dark side of life, going into the darkness and villains. And
speaking of darkness, I gotta turn on a light. If you're open to I wanted to highlight what if you were open to it and wanted to drop in more on what you're processing and what we weren't able to process.
Sure.
Let me turn on a light because it's getting dark in here.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm processing. Well, I've had two abortions in my 20s, and I'm dealing with the grief of the death in my body, but also the dealing with wanting to be accepted for my choices and not, looked down upon, or having to have conflict around the issue, and allowing to be what it is, and just being celebrated for that, like being honored. I feel at the moment that I was never honored, and those experiences, my partners at the time left me, and there was no comforting around that situation by anyone. I have my family, but I was living alone, and my ex left me, and never talked to me again, and they both pretty much left. So for me, the grieving is not really a grieving. It's really about wanting to feel the feeling around my womb, around my yoni, and be honored for the choices that I've made surrounding that, and to truly be looked at as an equal, not someone below, but that the choices I make are choices that others make as well, and that I am still loved, and that I can still be accepted for the choices that I make, and that you can just let it be what it is and not have to engage in conflict with someone around this, and just be honored for that. Simply. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel I'm just so, this part just really wants to hold space for you for that. Like I have a vision of a ritual and a practice.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I love that. I love that. I mean, actually, even a few weeks ago, I didn't do a ritual, but I was in the bath, and I put beautiful leaves and flowers over my yoni in the bathtub.
Oh yeah, didn't you take pictures? Did you
Yeah,
put
I
those
did.
over?
Yes, I
Have
did
you
that.
seen them yet?
I haven't posted them, but like that's just one thing, and you put a little music on and relax and really like honor and respect your yoni and your feminine and the gentleness around that. Because I've never been honored in I've never been honored by anyone in my yoni. So,
And I think I remember you saying this, like as much as and you're educated of this stuff,
yeah,
you never experienced like being worshipped, being adored, being held.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And which means like all parts. It doesn't, a lot of times, especially in the quote unquote Tantra community, you'll
Yeah.
hear the term goddess worship or yoni worship or goddess worship. And generally, a lot of people just focus on yoni
Yes,
and,
true.
but like true worship is beyond that.
Yeah.
And if the
Definitely.
goddess does so desire, I think either way, always honoring and worshiping the yoni, but from the comfort level of the goddess, whether that's verbal worship, whether that's just with your eyes and gazing at the yoni, whether,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be physical,
No.
or sexual.
No.
Um,
No.
and sometimes, especially, doing these worship experiences where we include the entire being and the entire body, but without focusing or doing anything about physical and sexual, the sexual just feels so safe. It just wants to come out and play. It's like,
oh yeah. I bet. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like the more emotionally safe I feel, like it's amazing. Like in like this whole week, man, like through celebrating death and going into some of these places with myself, I've been really aroused and I've had
oh yeah.
lots of pleasure. Like yeah. I've been thinking about that a lot. I was like, to the degree of which I'm giving myself permission to feel some of my more challenging points, I am getting double, triple the pleasure.
Oh yeah. I mean, and even speaking of death and pleasure, we talked about this le petit mort in French, the little death, an orgasm. That when we actually have orgasm, we actually die. Our ego dies, and we die for a moment where we are connected to everything, and we're limitless technically. So I find that really interesting how we can even connect death to sex.
Yeah, I think Osho talks about it a decent amount.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody watching or
We have Ken said, what a topic. And Venus, I celebrate death by giving myself space to grieve.
Yep. We got to get Venus back on here again. Venus has been assisting me, pre me starting this. I feel like it was, essentially could be, inspired by, like, I did a soul retrieval session with Venus a few days prior, yeah, to starting this all. And yeah, grieving. And I think that's one of the big pieces that I'm finding really hard for me to sit with, is there is this like the big intention of me starting this is grieving my life prior to, what I used to be able to do versus what I can do, which really chokes me up and trips me up. But it's also just opened up so many doors for like ultimate healing. Like everything's connected, Um, and my kitty is sick right now, and I'm hearing him sneeze. If anybody knows any home remedies for a kitty, we've been sitting in the bathroom together with the shower on really hot. I gotta figure out something else to do. So I'm in mommy mode, wanting to take care of my baby today, which is good for me. Yeah. Everything's in divine alignment.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, you can go.
I was gonna say, so those of you that do find this all curious or want more, definitely make sure, you are following us on Clubhouse, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, because we're going to be doing different videos and pop-up rooms and things around this. And what else was I just gonna say? Oh, and next week I'm gonna be able to hang out with Karezza again for Thanksgiving.
Yay!
And I'm hoping we're gonna get some photos of you and I together. That would be cool. Yeah.
Definitely. Aww. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, and I'm really interested on your, like, we're doing our what do you call it? What we put the death in, a coffin. Are we still doing our coffins?
Well, you can do a coffin if you want. I would definitely doing a burial or on the
A
weekend.
burial.
Yeah, I definitely want to on Sunday at some point we're gonna do a burial.
Correct.
Uh yeah, and we may be doing a clubhouse room or more videos later today, or depending on what things look like for you tomorrow. But
yeah,
I'm hoping we get some decent weather on Sunday. But if not, I'll just do it right in my yard. I would like to go a little further.
yeah, I'm excited. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And what was there's something else I was thinking and I can't remember now. I don't know.
And I think another thing with death as well is that it's a process. I think when we're young, we get so scared of it. As a child, I guess as parents, you kind of want to block that away as much as possible. But the reality is that we have to be able to understand what death is in all aspects of life. It doesn't mean just body, that the death of a body, but to understand yourself in connection to death is really important. And when we grow up, when we age, and when we see it differently, maybe we shift, in our 20s and our 30s and the 40s, maybe we see it differently. Or I know some people that actually, deny it, or, will buy things or do everything in their power to escape it. But and not even talk about it, and just become ignorant of it, that they don't know, you don't know what to do with it. So I mean, it's sometimes like sex as well, with religion and things, like you repress it and it's not to be talked about, hush hush. And yet it's one of it's why we're alive. So I find it very interesting.
Yeah. And for me, mine has definitely evolved, as I'm listening to you, I took a moment to it's like, as I shared, so basically, my life was at risk on a daily basis. Like I almost wasn't scared to die from a very young age. I kind of almost was like, yeah, it happens, and then when I started doing drugs, I just didn't care. I was okay with dying. Like I totally was okay with it, I wasn't suicidal. It's not that I was on a death mission per se. I was just okay, I knew that was a symptom of my lifestyle, and now it's interesting. It's like I do a lot to try to be as healthy as I can. But I don't have like a fear of death like some people do. Like I've met people that have this real fear of it, and I have more of a respect for life than I did, but I still don't have like this fear of it. So,
yeah.
Maybe, and when I think about my mom and her passing, that's another story. That brings up like stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I definitely think I made peace with my dying a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, with death, also it makes you realize, I always ask this question to people around sexuality. How would you see, or how would your last sexual experience be if it was your last time? Because I think when we look at things as our last time, it changes. We actually become more conscious of what's going on and how we see things and how we perceive things, because there will be a last time, correct? So it kind of puts into perspective what is important. And maybe even looking at how do we view this? How do we look at this today? Rather than, what we did 5-10 years ago. It really puts it right in front of your face. Like, if it was today, how would you want to celebrate your last time? How would you? How aware are you? Where are you in your life right now? And how can you, evolve more, go further? How it's really a beautiful question, because it makes you realize where you are right now. And that life is short, and all we have is the moment, but we can change. We can still grow. We can still challenge ourselves to be the best being that we can be. And be, for instance, like, if somebody says, well, I would just want to, if they just fuck around every day for the past 5 years, and someone asks them that question, maybe they would think in their head, oh, well, I don't know. Like, maybe I wouldn't want to do that if it was my last time. Maybe I would want to make love. Maybe I would want to see things differently. And it gives them a new life. It gives them a second chance almost to see
and maybe for some they want to break from the whole making love thing, and they just want to have fun. Like, to each their own. It brings up, it definitely, I know some other different thoughts, for me, like,
it's interesting though.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what are the life-sustaining ones that I can do today? Ones that sustain life. What time is it, Beauty?
It's about 1:30.
Wow, yeah, we started a little early.
Yeah.
The sun is coming out again.
I have a couple of comments from Ken Brown. He says, how to celebrate life is more relevant to me at the moment, and awareness of our mortality is important, so we only do what is meaningful.
And and I totally hear you. And so for me right now, a part of celebrating my life is, I definitely know that losing my vision has been a serious death and a serious loss. And I need to allow myself some grieving, so that I can really live my life, so that's kind of the intentionality here. And as well as the celebration, or, however, yeah.
And I also think that we have, life is about the light and the dark as well. We tend to celebrate a lot more of the positive, a lot more of the light, but there is so much gorgeousness, so much beauty, so much richness, so much aliveness, so much growth, evolution in the dark as well, to be had and to be honored, and to honor that. Because if we don't have the light, we don't know, if we don't have the dark, we can't celebrate the light, and if we don't have the light, we can't celebrate the dark, because it's all about balance.
And even in regards to, like, my mom, like when I said thinking about my mom's passing trips me up, but what it also has done, it's forced me to focus on her life right now. spend more time with her, communicate with her more. You know what I mean? So thinking about the reality that she could disappear any moment, it forces me to like, want to celebrate life with her while she's here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh God, this is intense. My insides are just
And I'm really excited about this lunar eclipse. Like it's like the first in 500 years or something.
that happened this morning, technically.
It did. Yes, you are right. And the full moon. So I wasn't able to see it. I don't know if it's out, if it's going to come out tonight.
I don't know. There's going to be a whole series of eclipses, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, we're in like eclipse season now. And so this was just a partial or a half.
Yeah.
The full eclipse is going to be, I think the first week of December, somewhere in there. So yeah, this was just like the beginning of a.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want to reach out to Janet and get her back on her show.
Should. Yeah.
She knows death. She's a death and birth doula, and she knows astrology. She does astrology and psychic work and so much stuff.
Yay.
I know, like, God, I keep thinking of her. Yeah. Yeah, as a part of, really honoring self, like I've definitely been in this place this past week, really just focusing on this ritual and this experience, and I'm looking forward to letting the rest unfold, today through Sunday, as well as kind of transmuting it, burying it, however you want to see that, bringing it to a close, and it doesn't mean it's over, especially with like, grieving my vision loss, like something like there's so many things, like it's just, I mean, it just opened up a door to something I can do regularly,
Yeah.
But there are definitely some things that I found that I have desire to really let go of and not revisit, so to say.
Interesting. What I was just thinking, like, also, in terms of death, what about like death in terms of a relationship, of a marriage?
Well, that's so funny because one of the things in my coffin reminds me of, there's something in that box.
Yeah.
There's a couple things in that box that have significance in regards to death and previous relationships that I really just like. It's not doing me any good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going through them. I'm not like legally divorced, but I'm divorced. And what I actually did, I took, I don't think I ever told you, Candace, but I burned a letter. It was a card in the very, very beginning of my relationship with him. And it was the most beautiful card written that somebody wrote to me. And I literally had to burn that because I went back to that time every time in my mind. That was the only way I could let go of the energy, of the feelings, of the vibes, whatever you want to call it, around that whole relationship. Because every time I wanted to let go, it came around again. and again, and that was the only way I could do it. So I literally went out into the backyard and lit a match on the cards, and it like poof, it was gone, and then I like buried it, and yeah.
Do you remember Mimi? Radiance Mimi?
Oh yes.
Oh my God, I miss her. It reminds me, she's amazing. She's still married to her husband, but she went through this ritual. Like, she realized they went through this experience essentially, and this is all, she shared publicly. I'm going to try to synopsize it.
Yeah.
But like, there were basically some agreements that they went into their marriage with that they both realized weren't serving anymore.
Wow.
So she had her own ritual. She took her wedding dress into the woods, burn that shit. I was like hearing her talk about, she has red hair too, and she's a musician. So I just think about her doing this burning of the wedding dress.
Oh my God,
an amazing relationship. So I don't know where they are today, but I just think of like how powerful allowing ourselves to go into those fiery, scary places, and like it's so necessary, but I also get I want everybody to honor their own path too, at the same time, like, oh
yeah, it's good though.
I was just trying to think, like, if you really want to have fun and frolic, creating space and time to frolic in the fun dimensions and try to play in some of the darker elements, there really is this beautiful tantric weaving that happens, when you allow yourself to shine the light on something dark, to turn up the joy volume knob, the celebration volume knob on experiences that may be really hard to feel okay with. Many experiences I've had in life that I may not want to talk about or share publicly. All those things you keep in your journal or in the closet, you don't talk to any about. What if you found a way on your own to celebrate it, to shine some light on it? Could you feel a little bit freer around it? Like,
yeah.
So again, guys, please do, if you didn't catch this from the beginning, click the like button, share this out on your social media and with your friends. If you are not following and subscribe to myself and Karezza on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse, you want to do that. Join my mailing list on my website to stay in the loop of upcoming private events that you will need to get tickets for.
Yay!
Yeah. And I think I do want to bring this to a close a little early. I want to tend to my kitty and figure out how I can help him. And yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to take a little rest and a nap, and maybe later sometime today I'll check in with Miss Karezza Cakes, and maybe we can do a room or do another video or see what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yay!
And Thanksgiving is next week, so be thankful for, I don't know what everyone's thankful for, but it's just a great time to be alive.
Yeah, my brain is just not working right now.
It's okay.
Mm.
And thank you to all those out there that have joined us and commented, and those who will and after the show and replay.
Yeah, that's I remember what I wanted to say. So please do chime in the comments, whether you're watching this now or later. And if you know anything about astrology, you have any insight, input, any videos, you can share the link in the comments. We would love to know. And yeah, if you want to bring your knowledge to our show or to our clubhouse rooms, we'd love to have you as a guest sometime. We love astrology.
Yes. It's very cool. Yeah, very interesting.
Mm. Yeah.
So,
and thank you everyone for being here, and thank you everyone who's been participating and contributing in all the ways you have. If you're curious about our private session work as well, we do offer that virtually, and I do in person as well. And just head on over to our websites and get in touch with us directly. If you ever want to be a guest on our show, you want to come join in on the conversation, get in touch with one of us directly. We would absolutely love to have you. We love doing different things with other people.
And I'll be having some surprises coming up because the holidays, Christmas, the winter season is quickly arriving. So do stay tuned for more to come, both on Facebook and Instagram and Clubhouse, because there's a lot to be, there's a lot in the works at the moment. So really
Karezza has a beautiful gift in store for us that I'll be adding a little bit of my own insight to, but it's her creation and I'm really excited for it. So yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Yay. Bye everyone. Have a blessed Frolicking Friday and weekend. Hope to catch you in one of our upcoming videos or clubhouse rooms. And yeah, do you know anything about treating a cat's cold? Let me know.
Yes. Lots of love to you all.
Yeah.
And enjoy your weekend.